What's up, guys? I hope everyone is doing having such a good day so far. Happy Wednesday. So in this episode, I'm going to continue to talk about the whole situation that's been going around across many cities in America, but mostly about what the media have been saying, their agenda behind this whole thing. I'll get to all of it. My name is Sean Clinton, and this is a Guy in a Radio Show Daily Edition. Alrighty, so yeah, let's just jump right into it. So we have basically pretty much hit just a stasis of stupidity at this point. Like, just mainly due with what the media has been saying during this whole thing. Like, because as I have said the past few episodes, we are all in agreement to what exactly is happening. We all agree that the death of George Floyd was awful, and the officer involved should go to jail. And we all agree that we pretty much all agree that the riots, looting, are also very bad. And we also all agree that the protesters and the rioters are two separate groups. But the media wants to continue to really conflate the two, and it's because of the agenda they have. And I'll get to that in just a little bit, but you can see constantly, every single night, they try their best to defend the rioters, basically saying that this is all justified anger, and what you should really be mad about is the police brutality and racism. Again, we all, pretty much 99% of Americans are are on the stance that police brutality is bad, and that racism is bad too. So, but what the media wants to push constantly every single day is that America is a horrible, evil, racist country to its core, and pretty much all Americans, whether you're racist or not, are still guilty of this. Like seriously, like they want to. Like, say that you have nothing to do with what happened to George Floyd, and never done a racist or said a racist thing in your entire life. According to the media and the left and Democrats, you are still guilty of his death because you're part of a system that is like basically jeopardized and hunted down, or that's sold to like basically kill off black people in America. Which is again not true. Yes, we did have problems with racism. We had slavery and the Jim Crow laws, but that has all been pretty much alleviated. Like, racism is pretty much on a really kind of the minority stance in this country. Like, there's really, again, pretty much 90% of Americans are not racist. Yes, there is some of those few far between. But the vast majority of Americans are not racist, and they all agree that police brutality is bad. But again, with the media, you could just watch, like, every single night they try to push this narrative. And also, like, for example, like, there was a situation over in Pennsylvania where this gun store owner was basically defending his business. Like, there were some rioters that tried to break into his business and try to loot the place, and he has every right to, he took his rifle and basically shot at them. And of course, he won't face any charges because you have a right to self-defense in this country. But the media wants to try to kind of twist it to make it to like this guy was just like shooting protesters. So here's actually a headline from CBS News about it. Here's what it says. Sorry, this is actually from. It's not the same incident I was actually talking about, but this is something similar. Basically, it's about a bar owner who was basically shooting at rioters and looters from breaking into a store. But here's what CBS put. A white bar owner in Omaha shot and killed a black protester. He won't face charges. So by that headline, you would assume that this white guy who's a bar owner just simply went out and shot a protester, and then since he's white, he's getting off scot-free. Again, that's not what happened. Read the actual story. Is that there were looters trying to break into his business, and he had every right to protect his business. So every single day, and this is how, and the media wonders why conservatives don't particularly like them. This is why. This is why we're here, because they're pretty much shills for the woke, progressive, left-wing, left political party of this country. But they want to push this agenda and push it to all forms of media, basically saying that no matter what you do, no matter who you are, you're still part of the system. If you don't believe what they believe, you're still part of the racist system, even if you're not racist. So, and this is just dangerous stuff. And the idea that nothing has changed in 400 years is completely false. It completely undermines all the struggle that people went through to try to free blacks in this country. We had a whole civil war over it, an entire civil war, and it completely undermines the work of Martin Luther King Jr. and his work and try to give blacks in this country, people of color, the same rights as everybody else. And it's just maddening, and just really maddening to see constantly. But funny enough, on some kind of good news, coronavirus is done, I guess. But that's also another funny thing, just seeing how the media has completely dropped all mentions of the coronavirus because of the protesters. Keep in mind, about a few weeks ago, they were saying that the people who were doing the stay-at-home or the lockdown protests, basically they were calling them the violent ones, and they're gonna kill grandma or something like that. But even though none of them got violent, and what's so irritating about that is that they try to make it to where they were just protesting so they could get a haircut. No, the vast majority of them were protesting so they go back to work. Because a lot of people were put out of work because of this lockdown. So they rightfully so went out and protests. But now with this protest, because since this protest is protesting a sentiment that the media agrees with, that's perfectly okay. That's perfectly okay. So it'll be very interesting to see. If there's really no spike in cases because of these protests, that will prove that this whole entire coronavirus was just a sham, really a sham from the beginning, honestly. And that it really doesn't spread as rapidly as we've been led to believe. Alrighty. I think that's all I have for this episode, so I'll be back here tomorrow with some other things I'll talk about. I'll see y'all then. My name is John Clinton, and this is the God and Freedom Show. If you enjoyed this episode of the God and Freedom Show, hit that like button and follow the page to get more content. You can also find me on your favorite podcast listening sites like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and SoundCloud. Thank you for listening or watching.